For several years now, there's been speculation that Michelle Obama, Big Mike, would ultimately end up replacing Old Joe on the ticket for the 2024 presidential election to face off against Donald Trump. And there's been renewed speculation this week after she appeared on this podcast and saying how terrified she was, or this person was, however they identify, about the possible outcome of the election at the end of the year.
The things that keep me up.
These are the things that keep Big Mike up.
Because you don't have control over them. Mm-hmm. And you wonder, where are we in this? Where are our hearts? What's going to happen in this next election? I am terrified about what could possibly happen because our leaders matter. Who we select, who speaks for us, who holds that bully pulpit. It affects us in ways that sometimes I think people take for granted.
Roger Stone has been perhaps the biggest speculator about this idea, posting back in July last year that he predicts Michelle Obama will be the Democrat Party nominee for president in 2024, adding, "You heard it here first." And I believe he's been talking about this for almost 2 years now. But I'll tell you why I think he is 99% wrong. Of course, Hillary Clinton was a former first lady who ultimately became the Democrat nominee, but that was after she was a senator in a major state in New York for almost 8 years. And so she developed that, executive experience and governing, and then went on to run for president. If the Democrats replace Old Joe, as many people are expecting, and they may not, I'll get to that in a moment, the line of succession, conventional wisdom, would be Kamala Harris would pick up the baton and then try to finish the race for the Democrat Party. But she's absolutely awful and nobody likes her, so they can't have her at the top of the ticket. Of course, the whole purpose of a vice president is to have somebody ready and able to take over as president if, God forbid, something were to happen. And it's customary to have the VP later run for president after the incumbent's terms have expired. But if they replace Old Joe with Michelle Obama, then they're going to have 2 black women on the ticket. And that's just going to be too weird. It's not going to resonate well with the American people. And I know some people are saying Michelle Obama, Big Mike. Okay, but as Michelle Obama, publicly identifies, you get the point. 2 black women on a ticket, it's just not going to work. And if the Democrats replace both Old Joe and Kamala Harris, then they would look beyond pathetic. That would be an admission of the administration being a complete failure. So they're not going to do that. The most likely scenario is that Old Joe sticks it out for another 6 months or even longer. And then if he has to drop out because of health issues, then the DNC, I believe, would nominate his replacement. And most likely, with almost certainty, it would be California Governor Gavin Newsom. But believe it or not, there is a significant chance that Joe Biden stays on the ticket along with Kamala and even makes it until November. Because very soon, the news cycle is going to be completely saturated with coverage of Trump's trials. And just like during COVID, when Old Joe was hidden in the basement and only did a handful of interviews on approved outlets, he's going to be able to skate by with minimum campaigning because the entire liberal media industrial complex is going to be focused on Donald Trump's trials. And let's not forget that John Fetterman won his Senate seat. He stayed in the race despite being mentally handicapped, and I don't say that as an insult, because of his stroke, sounding like this on the campaign trail.
And the Eagles are so much better than the Eagles.
Democrats voted for this man, and surprisingly, he even put on a suit and went to a debate to face off against celebrity doctor Dr. Oz.
What qualifies you to be a U.S. Senator? You have 60 seconds.
Hi, good night, everybody.
So tens of millions of Democrats will still vote for Joe Biden if he stays in the race, despite him having the intelligence of a ham sandwich. And speaking of running mates, during his Iowa town hall event on Fox News Wednesday night, Donald Trump said this.
Who would be in the running for vice president?
Well, I can't tell you that, really. I mean, I know who it's going to be.
Give us a hint.
We'll do another show sometime.
Well, what about any of the people who you've run against? Would you be open to mending fences with any of them?
I will. I've already started like Christie better.
Christie for vice president.
That's a joke, by the way, because Chris Krispy Kreme was caught on a hot mic shortly after he dropped out of the race on Wednesday, saying that Nikki Haley was going to get smoked in the primaries. A lot of people think it may be Ben Carson, who you may recall ran for president in 2016, a very brilliant and mild-mannered guy who has endorsed President Trump and is campaigning for him in Iowa ahead of the Iowa caucus on Monday. Or Rand Paul, who would be absolutely fantastic, who sounds like he's going to make an endorsement today, saying this yesterday.
Hey, everybody. As you know, I've been pretty quiet about the presidential race, which is kind of unusual for me. But tune in tomorrow morning, and I've got something very important to say on the presidential race.
Others think that it may be South Dakota Governor Kristi Noem, who I'm sure has caught President Trump's eye in more ways than one, especially since the standard has almost been set now that it has to be a male-female team, especially since Kamala Harris was chosen as the first female VP, kind of changing the dynamics now of who a VP running mate is. And never underestimate how many morons there are in America, because CNN's debate between Neocon Nikki and Little Ron on Wednesday actually did pull in, I think, over 2.5 million viewers. But President Trump did a town hall on Fox News at the same time, which beat it by 64%. The Nielsen ratings show that 4.4 million people tuned in to Fox News to watch Donald Trump's town hall, and 2.7 million tuned in to watch Nikki Haley versus Ron DeSantis, which is very strange because that's like quadruple what CNN's regular viewership is. And I'm quite surprised that so many people actually cared to watch two people debate who have zero chance of actually becoming the Republican Party nominee. If you missed my review of the debate yesterday, just go and check it out. I watched CNN so that you don't have to. You really didn't miss much. Vivek Ramaswamy was banned by CNN because they claimed that he didn't qualify according to their standards. So what he did is a sit-down interview with Tim Pool alongside Candace Owens, which has over 700,000 viewers. So that's a quarter of the viewers as CNN. So not bad just for a YouTuber. And it looks like they talked about January 6th. And so now YouTube is putting those context boxes like they do with other topics that they don't want people to talk about January 6th. And as much as I like Vivek, I think he's absolutely brilliant. The way that he owns the media is quite entertaining and genius. He's raising a lot of issues that nobody else has the guts to talk about. Anti-whiteism, replacement migration, what happened on January 6th. Unfortunately, voting for him in the primaries this time around is wasting your vote. He has no chance of beating Donald Trump. He has really no chance of even beating Ron DeSantis. I think that he would make a fantastic cabinet member, probably a little overqualified to be Trump's press secretary, although that would be absolutely fantastic. Maybe Secretary of State. He definitely has a position in the Trump administration, but let's face it, he has zero chance of beating Donald Trump. And he is essentially functioning as a Trump surrogate because his criticism of Donald Trump is virtually non-existent. So he's out there raising a lot of important issues and really defending President Trump in many ways. But now is not his time. But it's not just the liberal media that hates Vivek. It's the neocons because he's been mopping the floor with Nikki Haley at the debates. And so Ben Shapiro is pretending that Vivek doesn't exist because he doesn't want people to listen to Vivek's brilliant ideas. He says that this is now only a 3-person race, and that caught the eye of Vivek, who responded saying, "Looks like Ben Shapiro disapproves that his colleague, Candace Owens, hit the campaign trail hard with me today." In case you missed it, back in November, Ben Shapiro called on Candace Owens to quit the Daily Wire, and there was significant pressure to have her fired simply because she said it was odd that Nikki Haley has such an affinity for funding a certain foreign country and is willing to send American soldiers over to die to protect a certain little foreign country and their 75-year-old ongoing land dispute in its current iteration. And that's not allowed to be said or even suggested in mainstream Republican politics. You're always supposed to make that one little exception for your no foreign aid, no foreign wars for Ben Shapiro's favorite foreign country. This is one of those hot topics to navigate without being called an anti-Semite, which is often hurled at people more than the term racism by certain people. So of course I tackle it in my new book, The War on Conservatives, which you should order in paperback from Amazon.com or click the link in the description below, or download the ebook from any of the major ebook stores. If you like watching my videos, you're really gonna love reading my books. Like I said, a lot of things in there that I don't address on YouTube for obvious reasons. So head on over to Amazon.com or click the link in the description below and check it out.